Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and you've heard me talk many times on this channel about my sponsor, which is linked to one of my sponsors, and I talk a lot about how you have to be an accredited investor with these guys. So I wanted to show you, they put this video out, and I wanted to show this to you. This is not the whole video, just the part where it talks about financially how people qualify as accredited, because they did a really good job here. Watch this.
Through the net worth test. Your net worth has to be at least $1 million, not including your primary residence. Any and all assets can be counted towards your net worth. Real estate investments? Yes. Retirement accounts? For sure. Cryptocurrency holdings? Absolutely. Anything of value can be counted towards your net worth. The next method is to meet the income requirement. This means you must make over $200,000 per year as an individual, or $300,000 with your spouse. If you meet the income requirement for the past 2 years and you think you're on track to meet it this year, you're good to go. So those are the 3 methods to become a...
All right, so I just wanted to show you that and also remind you that I know that they just put more, they either did or they're going to today, put more Ripple private equity on the platform. And don't forget, Ripple recently was valued at $15 billion. And last time I checked, they were selling it, the equity on the on Link2 for, I think, don't quote me, but I think it was around $7 billion something valuation. So that's pretty huge in itself. I'll put a link at the top of the description of this video for you to, if you want to go check them out. Okay, Dark Defender apparently sees something. XRP 91 cent or 0.91723 incoming. Okay, he also did a write-up saying basically the same thing earlier, or I think yesterday. Now, also, check this one out from Bank XRP. Apparently, this lady right here, who is from an FX Open executive, says that Ripple settlement may trigger XRP's price to skyrocket. And if you look at the article, this first line is all you need to see. The leading retail and institutional FX broker told Finance Feeds that Ripple is expected to either win or the case to be settled in Ripple's favor. And they're basically thinking the price is going to skyrocket. Well, yours truly is thinking the same thing, something like that. Now, John Deaton tweeted this out. Looks like a man who has the truth, a man that has the truth on his side. This is Jeremy Kaufman, the guy that founded the library. Apparently, he said he's about to spend 8 compulsory hours with my favorite stalkers, the SEC. This guy's got guts for sure. CoinDesk had put this out earlier today. Galaxy Digital, which is Mike Novogratz's firm, says it has conducted an over-the-counter cryptocurrency-related trade with Goldman Sachs as more Wall Street clients seek to push into cryptocurrency trading. And I retweeted it and said, I wonder if they are betting dimes to donuts on the trade. That's Mike Novogratz's little saying. Okay, Charles Gasparino had tweeted this over the weekend. He had done an article about how Gensler basically is beholden to Elizabeth Warren because he wants the Treasury Secretary position, I think is what the article's about. And they're talking about the ESG standards that he's trying to put in place at the SEC. Well, anyway, so the point is that he has to get things done, and he has to be buddy-buddy with Elizabeth Warren to get them done. So I decided it was important to ask Elizabeth Warren about this. If you remember, yesterday or today, Stefan Huber was going through all the Jay Clayton, the problems where Sullivan Cromwell was involved. Jay Clayton gets millions from Sullivan Cromwell as SEC chairman. Clayton sues Ripple on his last day, and that is a competitor of Sullivan and Cromwell client Consensus. Joe Lubin, CEO of Consensus, defends Clayton's lawsuit as good. Sullivan Cromwell organizes $500 million for Consensus, and also Consensus is part owned by JP Morgan, and I think Sullivan Cromwell worked on that deal as well. Okay, so you got all these problems here. Well, this is Elizabeth Warren before Jay Clayton became SEC commissioner, she had a problem with him becoming the commissioner because of his conflicts. And listen to this.
Based on your personal client disclosures then, for half of your tenure as SEC chair, you would not be able to vote to enforce the law against several big banks, including Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, Barclays, and UBS. Is that right?
Yes, Senator.
Thank you. Those banks have repeatedly violated securities laws in the past few years, but if they violate securities laws again...
Let's go back 1 second because I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. She never says J.P. Morgan. I think that's an important thing to note.
Based on your personal client disclosures then, for half of your tenure as SEC chair, you would not be able to vote to enforce the law against several big banks, including Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, Barclays, and UBS. Is that right?
Yes, Senator.
Thank you. Those banks have repeatedly violated securities laws in the past few years, but if they violate securities laws again in your first 2 years as SEC chairman, you can't vote to punish them. And I think that's a problem. But it's just the tip of the iceberg. Your recusals would not be limited just to your own former clients. The Ethics Executive Order also requires you to recuse yourself for 2 years from any matter in which your former law firm, Sullivan and Cromwell, represents a party. Now, Sullivan and Cromwell is a leading New York law firm with a very long list of Wall Street clients. So for half of your term as SEC chair, you would not be able to vote to punish any corporation or bank that uses Sullivan and Cromwell as their lawyer. Is that right?
I believe that's a fair summary, Senator. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I said, hey, Senator Warren Davidson, Representative Tom Emmer, why aren't you hauling Jay Clayton before Congress to make him answer why he didn't recuse himself when it was time to sue Ripple, which is a competitor to Consensus, which is represented by Sullivan Cromwell and part owned by J.P. Morgan? See the problems here, folks? They are many. Okay, and then I told Charles Gasparino and Eleanor Terrett that I saw your article on Gensler and Elizabeth Warren this weekend in the New York Post, and it was great. But this is the career maker. This is the career maker right here. Now, then we had this from CoinDesk today. Folks, you couldn't make all this stuff up if you wanted to. This is so crazy what's going on and what's being allowed here. It's not even funny. So this is Ethereum 2.0. I guess CoinDesk must not have gotten the memo that it's called Consensus Layer now. They needed a name change. Traders expect Ether staking to offer inflation-beating returns after the proof of stake merge. Well, apparently CoinDesk did not get the memo because Gary Gensler said that staking, that it's very clear. He said that staking is, that the securities laws are very clear about that. And that he said, I think it was the first line of something, that it's a note. You can't, that's security. So apparently CoinDesk didn't get the memo, but for some reason, Gary Gensler I had to do a whistleblower alert this morning because Gary Gensler is not he's not doing the same thing to Ethereum that he did to Coinbase. Whistleblower alert. Gary, you said it was very clear that lending products earning interest fell under securities laws in your defense of stopping Coinbase lend. And by the way, where's Coinbase? Why aren't they complaining about this? I have uncovered the same thing going on with Ethereum 2.0, lending, which is a security, according to Gary. In progress. Okay, now let's go down here. This was my whistleblower alert from January 18th, where I was bringing Gary's attention to this. Listen.
Coinbase wants to launch a new type of interest-earning account.
Remember, this first part is where Gary Gensler is going after Coinbase. Listen to it.
Coinbase wants to launch a new type of interest-earning account called Coinbase Lend. Now, Lend would earn a 4% annual percentage yield, which says is 8 times the national average for high-yield savings accounts. But The SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, has said no without explaining why.
As it relates to lending products for a long time have been part of the securities law.
It's a pretty rich and diversified series of things that.
Now, what you're looking at here, this I put in here. This is Andrew Keys, who used to be with Consensus, but he's now bragging about his lending or interest product on Ethereum too.
Guys are doing there, lending, staking, swap transactions, and then prop investing in a kind of de facto VC context. I think the thing that may have struck most people is the scale of your staking book. I believe you said over 1,000 validators, 1.5 billion US notional.
So 10,000. So
10,000
validators at 32 Ether per validator before the staking rewards.
Now think about this, folks. This guy's bragging about it. This weekend we had Joseph Lubin bragging about how in his treasury he has Ethereum and DeFi and all these tokens. He's bragging about it. So not only is Gary Gensler not going after this stuff, but they're walking around bragging about it. And then CoinDesk is putting out these articles bragging about how Ethereum 2.0 staking is going to get this great interest. Meanwhile, Gary Gensler goes after Coinbase for the same thing. This is one flew over the cuckoo's nest crazy. This is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. What is going on, folks?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this makes you one of the largest staking books in the world.
Yes.
The first word in those 30 or 35 things Congress listed in 1930 was note. A note, comma, stock, comma, bond, and it goes on and on. In 1990, the Supreme Court addressed themselves to what is a note that comes under the securities law. So I think that the law is clear.
The law is clear, Gary. You said it. All right. And then I asked Warren Davidson this. Okay. I said, Warren Davidson, you're plugged into crypto space. Can you explain to me why the SEC is going after Coinbase for its lending product and completely leaving Ethereum 2.0 alone? If this isn't picking winners and losers, I don't know what is. Is the United States lawless? And he replied to me. I also cannot explain why Congress has failed to even hold a hearing on my bipartisan Token Taxonomy Act, first introduced in 2018. Not even a hearing on the specific topic, a bright line test to determine when is a digital asset a security. And John Deaton weighed in on that tweet. Think about this for a minute. Since 2018, there hasn't been a bigger topic related to global trade and finance than digital currencies. Bitcoin, CBDCs, etc. In November 2020 at the G20 summit, China's president declared it a top issue, but we haven't held one hearing. And then Warren Davidson had done this tweet, next bracket, what part of the federal government needs most reform? SEC wins, let's do a refresh, make sure we got the numbers right. SEC wins with 82.4% that it needs reform. Folks, if these people are not paying attention to the upcoming elections, they better start, because it is going to be a slaughterhouse. And listen, here's the other thing. These people are going to get, if Gary Gensler doesn't think that he's going to be not going to be hauled in front of Congress to answer for his behavior and his conflicts and his picking winners and losers and his double standards, he better think again. It might not be the Treasury he should be worried about. He should be worried about having to answer questions he cannot answer. He might need to plead the fifth. Now, this we showed you from this weekend, I think, where Vitalik Buterin is on Time Magazine called the Prince of Crypto. I mean, it's just like makes you want to vomit with the things we know. Well, this is in the media world we live in, because journalism died in the United States a long time ago. Journalism and the truth and the media, that died a long time ago. There's a reason that those of us out here that are telling you the truth about all of this, there's a reason that the views are coming to this. There's a reason that our views rival CNBC's in a lot of cases. There's a reason that when Charles Gasparino and Eleanor Terrett tell you about the Ethereum free pass and cover it, that their tweets are 5 to 10 times more likes and retweets than they do when they just cover the typical Wall Street stuff. It's because people are tired of being lied to, and they are drawn to the truth in droves. And that's why. So yeah, journalism and truth in media died in the United States a long time ago. This is what truth would look like. And that is if you had Brad Garlinghouse on the cover of Time and it said, "ETHgate scandal, the USA under SEC whaled Joseph Lubin. Problem solved. While being under attack by the SEC, Ripple Labs liquidated global recession at the same time. Brad Garlinghouse embraces long overdue level playing field." Now, just so you know, Brooks Entwistle who works with Ripple. He's going to be at the Blockchain US. What is this called? Blockchain Australia, not US. Blockchain Australia. He'll be there 21st to 25th of March. Really smart guy. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button. Tell your friends and family that yes, journalism and truth in media in the United States is dead. And so it has fallen on the shoulders of a few good men and women in social media to tell the truth. And the one huge, giant, mega whale miscalculation on the part of all the bad guys who are trying to lie to the people of the world and give them a narrative that's chosen instead of the truth. Their one big miscalculation is that people aren't stupid. And the reason there's more people listening to channels like this is because people are smart. And they will seek out the truth and they'll find it one way or another. So you can only put the lies out. It cannot stand the